Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain. Alright, so our quest here brings us back to the marketplace, to the quest giver Yoldrum. There are two parts here, so we'll be doing Newcomers. They have a second part here, which we'll also get to as well, but we'll get to that in another video. Alright, so let's just jump right into it here. These quests are on the newer side. They're still, they're not new, but I generally tend not to run them, as at this level range I almost skip everything here, uh, tending to go right from 11 right up to 13, just hitting up a couple of quests. Alright.
You emerge from the jungle into an open clearing. Only footsteps can be heard from further down the
Alright,
path.
so it's the first here. I'm hoping you guys had a good Halloween and everything went well there. Hopefully you got a little bit of candy, even if you had to steal some that you're given for your kids, or if you're your kids, ignore that one and just hope that your parents bought you some candy, and hope you guys just had a good time overall, no matter what you were doing, and that everyone stayed safe. I mean, you're here, so clearly you were safe. Alright, so as soon as we get in around the bend, we have that first group of enemies, and, you know, more enemies at the door. Another thing to point out is in a couple of days, we have the release of the new content here for D&D or DDO, the Feywild expansion. I'm quite excited to be playing that there. It'll be nice, and I'll do my best to bring you guys that content as soon as it comes out. I've kind of cleared my schedule, so I'm going to be doing a whole day of recording there. So, should be out fairly soon. I plan on waking up early, getting it downloaded right as soon as I can, and then going from there. Alright, so as you can see, moving down the tunnel, there's just a few groups of these enemies. Honestly, they're nothing too special. Nothing you really gotta watch out for. Okay. Ooh, we got a Reaper there. Hiding him way too far back. One would even say unneedlessly far back. Sorry about that. Yeah, typically speaking, when I'm in a group, I definitely don't recommend kiting them that far back. And if at any point I am in a group and I do kite them that far back, I typically mention to my group that if I'm that far away from you, ignore it. Either I'll die, in which case leave me there because I screwed up, or, you know, don't. But typically speaking, when I'm that far away from wherever the group is, that I can handle my own. And that's definitely one big thing to know in this game, is to know exactly, like, to know what your character's limits are. Like, I'm not saying always stay within the safe bubble, never to take risks, but you do need to know what your character is capable of handling. That way you can know just what you can bring to the group. Um, yeah, so it does take a lot to figure that out. Alright, so now that we're in this room here, just past the waterfall, we do have two directions we can go. Now, I definitely recommend heading left first, as it does have a rune which is required to move on. So, by going left first, it'll just avoid you running back to the left and pull that. There is a point to watch out. As you can see, we do have a couple of giants once we get to where that first group was here around the bend. And not only do giants move fast, they also have an annoying ability where they can damage you as they walk. Just watch out for that one. I have found a trick to that, whereas if you are getting hit from that ability, stop moving, as it will stop the trigger on it. And then after that, oh, he's got a stone guard. That's not going to be fun. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I really hate it anytime that these stone guard ones, the stone giants,
Several
are...
giants have set up camp in a secluded spot.
Anytime
You
that the
spy
stone
some kind
giant...
of lever amongst the tents.
Okay, now they're good. Anytime that the stone giants are champions, as the stone giants have a heal that they like to cast on themselves, and being a champion, it is more potent. Alright, so here we are at the back of this giants camp here. We do have a lever. Just make sure you hit that. We also have a chest. The chest is locked, but you can go ahead and pick it for some free random loot. Alright, so once that side is done and we've pulled the lever, now it's on to the other side, which if you look carefully, all the eyes in the bush here, we do have a bunch of panthers, though we can't actually hit them yet. So from this distance, because we're not able to hit the other ones yet, you can take out this group here, which will essentially make it so that you only have to fight one of these groups. So all you gotta do is have just any type of ranged weapon, and you can hit them once, which will pull them over. So even if you're not a ranged type character or ranged type class, I definitely recommend having some ranged weapon just to get their attention, pull them away. Otherwise, what's going to happen is if you run up to greet them, these guys are going to become active, and then you'll just have to deal with both the panthers and that group of lizard folk. Alright. So, moving on here. Right around the corner we have another group. They really love to put them right around corners. Okay. And then we also have another group of these jungle stalker panthers. As you can see, we can pull a small group here on the right first, before then pulling the main group here on the left. And then again here on the left we also have a lever.
A distant sound tells you that a ward has been disabled.
Once both the levers have been pulled, it's going to open up the door just up here. Okay. So it'll open up that door down there. As well, before we start heading down that cave, there is a rest shrine right here. If that is required. If not, then go ahead and start heading down the tunnel towards the door. And right above the door, there's those runes that we needed. So obviously if you have a group of people, you can send one side left, one side right. Each one could pull a lever, you know, speed things up a little bit.
With the magical barrier dispelled, you can now explore deeper into the caverns.
Here we go. So as soon as you get in, directly to your left we have a group. And apparently we got a Reaper too. Another Carnage. Okay. Another group of collectibles. And then we also have a lever here right where they were.
The sound of a door rumbling open can be heard to
So
the
that
east.
will open up a section. As you can see, it is an optional.
One of the fiercest lizard folk has made
And
this room
inside
into its
it
den.
will have a cult fanatic. Now I
This is
want to
menacing
point out,
as you approach.
it is very important that you don't just
Creature emits a guttural groan.
poke your nose in right here and pull him. If you kill him before you walk in just far enough, which is only about here, and it triggers to stay to kill this enemy. If you kill him before you get that trigger, it doesn't actually reward you, and it will bug it out if you try to run to the chest. the chest will be locked as stating you need to kill this enemy. So just watch yourself. Again, this might have been fixed since the last time I've been in here. I just know that the first time I was in here, I shot him from right about here when I opened the door. I was not yet given the optional to kill him. Then when entering the room, it gave me the optional and kind of locked me out of getting that loot there. Nice little rems. Alright, so deeper in, again, another door,
An enormous
and
cavern
it's going to
opens
open up
before
into
them.
a giant
A
cavern.
raised platform can be seen on the far side.
Now, I do want to point out that you do want to hit these levers in specific orders. Shooting them too early or too late might result in it bugging this room. So if you don't know what you're doing, definitely don't go around shooting anything. So first thing you're going to want to do is come to the bottom, pull the lever, which will
You
activate your
pull the
first stone.
lever, and a distant platform suddenly begins moving.
Shoot. Of course it didn't let us on. Here we go. It's gonna raise us to our next section, which also has a lever. It's going to raise our next stone, which is just down there. We can actually just jump right onto it. And it's gonna take us to our next lever. Now, here's where things get a little bit tricky. So there's the lever there. As you see, we do have a lever there that we can shoot. So what you're gonna want to do, as you also see, it only goes to those ones. So we have a lever there that we can shoot, and a lever right here. We want to shoot this one, which will turn off these air jets. As well, I tend to just hover on the side. Now for this one here, we're gonna pull this one. Here it is. Now what we gotta do here, once it takes us over there, another lever. So here we go. So the first thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to hit that lever. If it lets me target the lever. Of course it did, but too late. Shoot. Oh no. Yeah, we just missed her. Yeah, it wasn't letting me target that lever there, which kinda sucked. So the objective is you want to shoot that target lever. It'll turn off these ones, and then you want to activate it again, which will then convert which ones are or exchange which ones are on and off. So right now the front section are off, the back section ones are on. You want to get that lever again, you can just pull it, and that will change, or it's supposed to change. I know, again, sometimes that these ones can be buggy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump over, activate it, hop back on our platform, and hop over to the end. Once you're at the end, so they do have the lever to go through the door. Right to the left of the door, we also have a second lever. Now this is going to activate this little stone platform to go up and down here, allowing for anybody else who couldn't make it through to just be able to get through with no effort. So definitely make sure that
The
you
door
hit that one.
opens,
It
releasing a sudden
makes it
blast
real
of
easy. Even if you
moist
walk
air.
off the edge, you know, it's just nice to pull that one. Alright. As soon as we get in, right around the corner, again, you guessed it, more enemies. They're starting to hurt. So I'm actually going to jump off the edge. Alright. Now that we got that taken care of, we're going to go down. We got another door. I don't know why I haven't been doing that in the first place, but yeah. And yet another Reaper. Okay. Let's head on through this door. Alright, now that that group is
Giantess
taken
ruins
care of,
dominate
we
this
are
large
now
clearing.
in the
You
village.
can make out the outlines of small dwellings in the distance, but a magic barrier blocks exploration in that direction.
So the barrier that they're talking about is just right there. Now to drop down the barrier, all we gotta do is kill the surrounding patrols. So there was that first one, we got this one here. And then finally, this group over here.
With the lizard folk defeated, Alanithris calls for you to come to the front gate.
Alright, so there we are. Once all three are destroyed, we do have random bits here and there. But once all 3 of them are destroyed, they drop the barrier and we can talk to this elf here. I do want to point out that this is actually a dragon in human form. So she talked to her and she has you locate somebody else deeper in. So you can actually choose to go through the camp here, which is what I'm going to do. We have a shrine right out here. And then ultimately we want to go through these doors right here. Now I have gone and explored. You can go around here, or you can go around the other way. There really isn't anything there, no optionals, nothing. It's just longer to go around. So I definitely recommend going through the camp. Save yourself a little bit of time. Now as we go through the massive doorway, we have a hole in the ground.
But a hole has been excavated
So
to give
as you can
access to
see,
the
this
hallway
is
below.
a one way. Once we drop down, we can't actually return. So definitely recommend using that shrine if you need it, as it is a use or lose. Okay. Now heading down the big hall, it kind of tapers off into a small little doorway. Now again, this is a nice spot, just coming up here. If you have a group, you can send one left, one right. Kind of clear both sides as you go. Alright, so here's that split. Now, both sides are identical, and you do actually need to go down both sides. So we're going to start by heading south. Right around the corners, there's our lovely group. This time, a little bit more prepared for it. You know what? Let me cast one of these before we run into a champion caster who hits us with a magic missile. Alright, and then we now have a group just up ahead. Oh, and then of course it ran out. Alright, so there's that group. Now, both sides can have random spawning traps, as you see here with the bear trap. Just gonna do a quick search, make sure we actually spot them all. And I do want to point out that again, these traps, for some reason, sometimes bug out and don't actually give you count. So I'm just watching here, that making sure that we do get count for all of them. Alright, so here we go. So once we get to the center, we can kind of see inside the room here. We also have 2 doors. One heading off to our left, which is further south. Inside of it, it has a lever. Now we do need to pull that lever. And there are enemies inside. So... fair amount of champions in that room too. So there's that group here. Now if you are running solo, once you pull this lever,
As the lever activates, energy pulses into the
um,
central chamber.
I definitely recommend not going through the door here, rather going all the way around and do the other side there. And I'm going to show you why here. So if you are with a group and you just continue on, you're just gonna have groups like normal, nothing special. And it actually won't get until you open that specific door on the other side. And it has to do with the way that they set up the group spawns here. So we're gonna head up and around. Okay. So once you get to this point here, this is where you'd have both of the runes pulled. So we pulled the one.
An unnatural cold radiates throughout this room, which is dominated by a glowing magic device. 2 gems adorn the control panel that Aloevain mentioned.
So those 2 gems, they do need to be activated. And that's what those levers there that we were pulling are for. So we pulled our first one. Alright, so as you see, we pulled the one on that side. We still have the one to pull on the other side. So why I was mentioning you might want to, some lag, why you might want to head all the way back around and go the other way rather than just continue through here. And the reason has to do with where these enemies spawn. So I'm gonna drop this here. So you do have a group that spawns when you come around the corner, but you'll notice there's nothing here at all. So I'm gonna drop this one here. Now once we open the door here, that's where these guys actually spawn in. So it'll kind of put you in the middle of these 2 groups, and if you try to retreat back, again, you just run into further groups. So it really is annoying, like, they put those, well, 2 group spawners on the other side of the door. So not only are they just not there, like, I do understand the need to not have everybody spawning in at once, because that would definitely, you know, slow the progress of the game and just render more in than needed at that time. So I do understand that fact, but the fact that, like, if you come up and around and you're going this way, which a lot of groups end up doing, I know one, I did it this time, but I tend to do that, like, I did that on my first run through, not having any idea, and I ended up dying there, just because, you know, I did exactly what that was. We had a group in front of us, a group behind us. I tried to back up further to get back to here, because this was clear, and I just backed up into a 3rd group, and, you know, without being prepared for it, it was too much for my character to handle at that time. And again, similar thing here. Door. Nobody here. As soon as I pull and open this door, that group spawns in, and that group spawns in. So it's just the way that this one's set up is kind of janky. So I definitely recommend, rather than going all the way around, once you pull that first, that first thing, you can even go ahead and open that door, deal with that first group, but then ultimately come back and around, heading up to the other side. This way it will spawn in all the enemies, so you got that going for you. It will also, not put you in a position where you have enemies both in front and behind you, and allow you to safely deal with who you got without making it unnecessarily harder on yourself. Another thing to point out, the traps also trigger when you open the door, so that might be why we're not seeing it. We didn't see any on the first time through. Okay, so yeah, so when you open the door, not only does it spawn the groups, but it can also spawn in those random groups of traps as well. But anyway, now we just got our one last group of enemies here. And again, once they're all defeated, one more comes out the door. No, once they're all defeated, go ahead and grab your collectible as well as pull our lever.
The lever is pulled, and energy begins to flow towards the central chamber.
So now that we've pulled both of them, we will be able to do, it's actually a little puzzle. And again, this is the first time this type of puzzle was implemented into the game. It's now since been used elsewhere, but it's a Simon Says puzzle. So that we got our 9 blocks here, and if you actually look carefully, it's not actually saying it. You used to see 1 to 9 there when you would select the little runes here. But anyway, so you're gonna pull the lever on the bottom. It's gonna start our Simon Says. Then it's gonna add more.
The gate to the west
And
slides
then
open,
after 3
clearing the way
rounds,
into
so
Dumaranthi's
light all
chamber.
3, it'll open up our door. If at any point we fail, so say we failed on that last one, it resets them all. You gotta restart all of them over. Alright, so from here, we're gonna head a little bit deeper in through the door. Again, 2 paths. Both have a group right on the other side of the corner. They really like doing that to us in here. They really like doing that in general, just have you walk around the corner and have there being a group of enemies, and it's just like, oh no. And again, you can get those random spawning traps, which, here we are. And again, just check to make sure that they are giving you count. If they're not giving you count, obviously, I mean, you can still disable them all, but the way I look at it is I'm not getting points towards it. Rather than wasting the tools, there's not a lot of reason for me to continue pulling them. Alright, so this time I am going to go back and around. For our other group of enemies. And again, watch out for those random spawning traps. Alright. So at this point, it does give you another set of shrines, which is basically right before our boss battle here. So I do recommend, if you do need, go ahead and use a shrine. Buff yourself up. As you can see, as we're getting a little bit in, there's a lot of ice. We will be fighting some ice-based enemies, so if you have cold resistance, awesome. If not, well, good luck. Alright, so through the door.
Her unnatural movements tell you that she's being
There they
magically
are.
compelled by the cultists surrounding her.
So we have a lever here, which is temporarily locked. We just gotta wait for essentially their little conversation. Now, as you can see, I can actually target one of them if you have any type of arch-like spell. So for example, like tactical detonation, again, as an example where the spell itself arches, you can use that arch to arch it over and actually start attacking those enemies. From here, we just want to head up and around and attack. Now we can actually fight and kill the dragon, or if you just take out the human right there. So yeah, popping around the corner, you can kill the trash before the fight starts.
Charging battery.
Then you can target the person. If you just kill the human there, they're the ones controlling the dragon, so you don't actually gotta split your focus. Don't bother fighting the dragon. As soon as he dies, the control is let go, and that'll be that. They also do say that in
from her magical compulsion.
the quest objective is to kill that person and not necessarily the dragon. From here, talk to the dragon, and we get some loot here. So it can have some named items at the end here. Let's just do a little bit of re-rolling, see if we get anything. Yeah, so we got the flame spear. So as you can see, it does a little bit of extra fire damage, fire spell power. Let's go ahead and grab that. Use it on one of my other characters. And yeah, so that has been Newcomers. So it was really interesting. They do have a lot of gear in this one and the quest next to it here. When these two came out, they do have gear geared towards the Dragonborns specifically, as actually this content had come out with the release of the Dragonborn class, or sorry, the Dragonborn race. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to watch the next one, please stick around. It'll be coming out tomorrow, and we'll hit up this one. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one all.